Good eye, mate. Crikey. Unlike my accent, this is an authentically Australian swag tent. Incidentally, so are my boots. I'm not an Australiophile, but they do know how to make some stuff for the outback. All right, so the swag tent. This was something that caught my eye because I'm planning a trip for 7 days soon, and I'm not intending to get a rooftop tent. You've seen Hudson the dog. I think it's just a challenge to get an 85-pound dog up a ladder into a rooftop tent, but I wanted something easy to set up and kind of just the right size. So I did some research and I came upon these swag tents. So this here is a Adventure Kings swag, single swag deluxe. It's super nice. So here's kind of the pros and cons of a swag tent. The pro is everything's kind of already in it. So it's got a sleeping pad inside. The tent itself goes up in, 2 poles and a cross beam, and then you keep your bedding inside. So when you're done, you just roll it all up. So when you get to camp, you unroll it, put up 2, oh, here's the dog, taking up all the space in the swag tent last night. You just kind of unroll it, set it up super quickly. It takes, 5 minutes to put up, which is really nice. The con is it takes up a ton of space. Okay, I know, this isn't for you. So the other nice thing is it's all canvas, so it's quite waterproof. You have to season it at first when you get it. So I got it and I set it up and I doused it in water for a couple of days, let it sun dry. And what that does is it expands all the threads in the canvas so they kind of fill up the hole. So it is waterproof. I haven't tested it yet in rain, so we'll see how true that is. But I did test it last night in very cold temperatures. We think it got down to about 18 or 19 degrees up here in the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it was fine. It was great. I had a couple of blankets in here. I also shared it with the 85-pound lab, who he puts off quite a bit of heat. Very cozy. I mean, it was definitely quite a few degrees warmer inside than outside of the tent. Of course, the thick canvas blocked all the wind. I did have the vent open to make sure we didn't get any condensation, although there was a lot of hot dog breath in there. So I got just a little bit of condensation. I realized when I woke up, I didn't open one of the vents. I only had the one up by my head. So heavy dog breath down at this end caused just a little bit of condensation. So also rolling it up is super easy. Similar to setting it up, you just take off these tent poles, take out this middle bit, and just roll it. The con is it does take up a lot of space. When it's rolled up, it's about this big and probably like this fat. And the duffel bag I have for it is absolutely massive. I mean, it takes up probably a quarter of my entire truck bed. But when you factor in what you'd normally take with like a pop tent, your sleeping bag, your other bedding, and maybe a blow-up mattress or an air mattress of some kind, it's probably pretty comparable. The swag tent is named for a kind of the Australian version of the classic hobo. They were called swaggers, and they were guys that would roam from farm to farm looking for work, and they would roll up this kind of bedroll and take it over their shoulders. And yeah, they got the term swagger, and then swag became synonymous with this style of tent. It's definitely not for everybody. I could see it being a little claustrophobic for folks. I mean, you can see how big it is. It's not very big at all. You can't stand up. Changing clothes in it is a little bit of a challenge. For a full-size man and a full-size Labrador Retriever, it's definitely about the limit of what you'd want to do. So this is not something I think Becca and I would want to share, unless maybe it was really cold and you needed some extra heat, But I think besides that, the tent was super cozy. I mean, we stayed warm, no problem. It was very comfortable, little condensation. I love it so far. So check back on here because I'm going to take it with me on the South Carolina adventure route, the SCAR. And I'm really looking forward to trying it out for 7 days back to back to back. But so far, I'm really, really happy with it. I thought I'd share a little bit more about this. Again, as I mentioned, it's the Adventure Kings single swag. It's roughly 6 feet and 11 inches, about 2 feet and 11 inches wide, and the height is 2 feet 7 inches. Those are pretty close because the Aussies are no longer using an antiquated imperial system that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Good on them, I guess. The pad inside is 50 millimeters, which is just shy of 2 inches, and really was pretty comfortable. I slept on the ground, but because the tent is so small, I actually also have a cot that it will sit right on top of, which would probably take the comfort to the next level. I'll give it a shot next. Here you can see the view from the inside. In the middle of the night, a little claustrophobic, but it didn't really bother me. In fact, I found it quite cozy. As you can see here, I'm about as happy as a clam. It was super warm. Despite being absolutely frigid outside, the inside of the swag was really pretty comfortable. I think the dog really enjoyed it too. Once he got comfortable, he slept all night. I did want to show some of the versatility of the tent. You can see each side has both a canvas flap and a super fine mesh screen to keep the mosquitoes out, of the mozzies as the Australians might call them. So super flexible tent. It's great for all seasons. Again, it worked great in the winter. It's gonna be a couple months before I actually get to test it out in a summer setting, but I'm not worried about it with all this full ventilation. So you can see that each of the flaps can roll up independently, so you can have the screen down or just the canvas or leave it open or whatever you want to do with it. It's a great tent. Highly recommend it. Good eye, mate. Crikey.